Matthew, you are in the moment, 11:31 here on a late night, this 15th day of September 2025. I'm going to start off right now by saying in the last 29 minutes of the day, I want to wish, I spoke with my sister last night. We've been in communication today. My sister's birthday today. One of Carleton County's finest individuals, lifetime resident of Carleton County, Woodstock, New Brunswick. So happy birthday to my older sister Jill and my Aunt Una, who watches the show from time to time. My mother's sister Una, celebrating 90 years yesterday. So happy birthday to my Aunt Una and my sister Jill. And that's how we're going to start off this little quick show of In the Moment here on this 15th day of September. Beautiful. Just quickly want to talk about the weather. Just an absolutely beautiful day here today in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Looking at Environment Canada for the week. Weather is looking good. Summertime weather for the rest of the week. Maybe some showers, maybe some clouds on Friday, but for the most part, we're looking at sunshine, temperatures in the mid-20s. So if you have the opportunity, get outside and enjoy this last full week of summer. Fall begins 1 week from tonight. Ruby, hello, how are you? Congratulations with your schooling and everything that you have accomplished. Fantastic stuff. Love following all your feeds and all your updates on your social media. So congratulations to you, Ruby. Sorry, not Ruby. I'm thinking of someone else. But really nice to see you in here, Ruby. You have your own story as well. So it's been a week since I've been in here. My last show was, and not getting back to Ruby, not saying that you haven't accomplished anything. I was just getting a couple of people mixed up. Someone who I follow, they watch the show, are going back to school. So I just wanted to recognize that. But what you have done, going from a tent to inside, fantastic stuff. So it's been a week. I did a quick show last. I'm trying to keep this show tight, but I get distracted. ADHD, not diagnosed. But I did check off a lot of the boxes. Okay, great to see you, Ruby. I'm glad you're in here checking this out live. So this is the first show I've done in a week, and anyone who has watched the show knows that when the urge strikes me, it's as simple as turning on my phone and this is therapy for me. I started this in 2017. This is therapy for me. So I just continue to share what's going on in my life, maybe making it relatable to what's happening in your world. Okay, last day of fall, talked about that. Get outside this week. Finish up your end of summer chores. How was your summer? I like the back and forth. It's great when people are in here live. They can leave comments, or they can leave comments if you're watching this at your leisure, getting caught up. How was your summer? On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you get it? Did you go somewhere? Did you have a chance to spend some time with family? Did family come here? How was your summer? Let's just ease into the program just like that. This is just therapy for me, but I want to give a couple of shout outs to all the local farmers here in Nova Scotia. Me, Jen, Kai had an opportunity to go to a market just up the road here, just up in the Hydrostone area. All the food was local. The tomatoes, the fresh corn on the cob. I can't say enough about fresh produce, fresh vegetables, and fresh fruit. So hats off, and to everyone working behind the scenes with the farmers, the delivery people getting it from the fields to the tables. Thank you so much. Just a wonderful, wonderful meal with fresh vegetables. Hey, sometimes I was looking back at a show I did a few weeks ago, and I think at the very end of the show, I actually said how dark that show was, how serious the tone was. So I'm just trying to not go down that path tonight. And again, this is unscripted, this is unedited. What I'm telling you right now, I literally just wrote these notes down within the last 30 minutes, just getting home from work, late night. So I just wanted to hop in front of the camera. And again, if you're in here live, I appreciate it. If you're watching at your leisure, I appreciate that as well. So I'm going to get to what I have seen within the last week. You know, I do a lot of walking, public transportation, yes. But on the weekend alone, I walked over 30 kilometers just in the peninsula. So I'm going to share with you what I saw this weekend, but I'm not going to end it on that. What I'm going to end it in, and I'm going to tease it by giving you two names of two really funny individuals who unfortunately are not with us anymore. John Ritter and John Candy. So just remember those two names, John Ritter, John Candy. You may remember John Ritter, very famous for his role as Jack Tripper in Three's Company. So I'm going to get to that in a couple of moments. But first, what I've seen. Now, what I'm about to tell you, and these are just, you can see the notes right here. I have a very hard time deciphering my own handwriting, and I'm being generous when I call this handwriting, and when I'm doing it quickly, it's even worse. But I just want to start with, this segment here, I am going to be talking about the unhoused population and the housing crisis. So if this is something that doesn't interest you, please, I'll give you the opportunity to keep scrolling, because what I'm about to talk about, just things that I've seen here. Okay, this is not something that you're going to find on your tourism brochure. This is not something they're going to hand you when you get off the cruise ship or ambassadors. This is not part of the tour guide. But this is what's happening on the streets here in the HRM. And if you spend any time driving around, if you come into the city from wherever, if you're from another community, another city, it's 2025. This is what's happening, and it's not just happening here. Let's not be naive about that. So within the last few months, we've gone from 6 designated encampments, and as of 1 week from today, the 22nd, which is next Monday, another designated encampment is going to be closing down, and that's the Cogswell Park encampment. I was just up there just over the weekend. There are still plenty of tents there. There's still a lot of activity going on there. They actually have a pretty good setup there. They actually have a tent that is set up where people can go and eat. They have the tables set up. It's the same kind of operation, same kind of setup that they had at Green Road. So they are organized there. There are a couple of porta potties, but there's probably at least a dozen structures, and you can tell that some of those tents, some of those structures have been there for a long time. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to take place within the next 7 days, because we know what happens when it's time for the evictions to go to that next stage. Everyone's been served with papers. Everyone's been given the notice. Everyone knows the deadline when they need to be out. And I can tell you, because I've seen it with my own eyes, I know people who have been traumatized by contractors coming in, and past a certain deadline, past a certain time in the day, they like to do it preferably when you're not there, but they will literally have a machine and pick up all your belongings and your tent and your home and your life and your dignity and your security, and they will dump that into the back of a dump truck. Don't believe me? You're not watching enough news, and you certainly haven't been following me, because I know that's what happens. Ask Andrew Goodsell. So going to be really interesting to see. That closure is happening within the next 7 days. People have to be out of there by end of day Monday, I would assume. Maybe there'll be some grace period. We'll see. So that will leave 3 designated encampments as we approach the latter part of September and as we get ready for winter. And you might be like, Matthew, it's September. What are you talking about winter for? I can tell you right now that I know people at Lower Flynn Park who are already winterizing their tents. If you take a walk down towards the Barrington encampment, I've never seen more people at this particular encampment in the 4 years that I have been walking that path like twice a day. I've never seen more structures. I've never seen it. It's so messy. It's really, I would love nothing more to have every encampment closed by this winter, with the only way that happens is that these people are in dignified living conditions. And I don't mean putting them in a shelter, and I don't mean putting them in one of those pallet homes. Dignity, yeah. I don't want to go down that path. I think everyone knows my thoughts on putting people in shelters. Putting people inside is one thing, but there's a lot of risk that comes with putting a complete bunch of strangers in an unfamiliar space. So that's happening. It's overcrowded at the Green Road encampment. It's overcrowded. I was down there last week, and there are tents that you can now see as you're driving down the road. There's a lot of tents there. There's a lot of people out on the street. There's an unbelievable amount of people on the street. I was out on Sunday. I have a routine of I'll either catch the 29 bus and go all the way down to the Tim Hortons on Barrington, down by the Superstore, and then I'll walk back through the city. Might walk the waterfront depending on the time of day. But I always, I'll get a coffee at Tim's, and then I go through the back parking lot of the Superstore and the liquor store, and I always go up to the fence if there's a train there. I grew up next to the track, so I've always loved trains and boats and planes. So if there's a Via Rail train, I'll make my way over to the fence just to check it out and daydream and think, wow, I'd like to be on that train with Jen and Kaya going somewhere else. But what startled me on Sunday when I was down there, I noticed that there were 2 pallets that had been taken just from the dumpsters and whatnot in the back parking lot where deliveries are made. It's not too hard to get pallets there. But there were 2 pallets kind of leaned up against the fence, kind of in a triangle, and something moved. And it kind of startled me, and then I realized that it was a person. Someone was just sleeping on the ground in a sleeping bag, protecting themselves, staying out of view, using 2 pallets and a blanket. So that's happening. And I've told you every time I get on here, I'm telling you there are people sleeping. There was a guy sleeping on the bus shelter. In my phone notes, that I spoke to him tonight. I actually came home with some food and asked him if he needed something to eat, if he needed something to drink. He did not. I didn't pressure him. I just asked him if he was hungry, if he needed anything. But I've mentioned many times there are people sleeping from one end of this peninsula to the other. And they're not trying to hide. Most of them are just out in the open because they're completely exhausted. And they're just going to sleep wherever. I've seen people sleep in positions that it's not comfortable. You know that they can't be comfortable, but they're so exhausted and they're just gone that at least they're resting. At least they're resting. It's just unbelievable what you see. I saw a guy the other day dressed as the Flash, full costume, at the old library. See, no, it's not all bad. Spring Garden Road on Sunday, dressed as the Flash. Maybe he thought he was in New York City and Times Square. That's where you would see something like that. I've seen Spider-Man in town before, but this is the first time I've seen the Flash. He was up at the old library. Young people, lots of, and this is a couple of things that I notice a lot. There are a lot of folks of different ages males, females, light skin, dark skin, all kinds of people from all walks of life. And they are pushing around shopping carts, looking for recycling. And I've said this many times, the housing crisis doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care. It doesn't care who you are. It can happen to you just like that. Ask those people whose resident went up in flames just a couple of days ago in Sackville. What, 130, 140 residents? So, like I've said many times, it's not, drug addiction or mental unwellness that puts you out on the street. Once you're out on the street, those follow right behind you. So that's just what I've seen. But I don't want to leave it with that. Let's go back to, I want to end it on a light note, going back to John Ritter and John Candy. And I grew up watching Three's Company, and I loved John Ritter's physical comedy. Like Chris Farley. Chris Farley was great with his physical comedy. Will Ferrell. But going back, Robin Williams. But going back in the day, it was, for me, the physical comedy and the timing of John Ritter, Jack Tripper from Three's Company. Just think of any given scene with John Ritter in that sitcom. Just the timing with all the cast and the physical comedy. Well, the reason I bring that up, a couple of mornings ago, I was here in the living room, and I had a fairly large, I think you've seen me with my really large cup of coffee, the one with the big Canadian maple leaf on it. Well, I had that almost filled to the brim. It's piping hot, and I stubbed my toe, and I kind of made this movement. It was very Jack Tripper-ish, and I was contorting my body, trying to deal with the pain in my toe and not wanting to spill any of the drink. And when everything settled down, just in a matter of seconds, when everything settled down, I was in this position, and the first thing I thought of was, this is something that Jack Tripper would have done successfully. So that's and I didn't spill any coffee. The pain went away in a few seconds, but it made me laugh. But like stubbing my toe has never made me laugh like it did the other day. So I just wanted to share that with you. But this is the coolest story. And this goes to John Candy. Unfortunately, we lost John Candy way too soon. I loved his movies. Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck is probably one of my favorite John Candy movies. But we're out on Saturday. Me, Jen, Kai, we're in the city on Saturday, and we walk into this vintage shop on Barrington that's fairly new. They've done a reno. I've never been in there. And I'm listening to the lady who I find out is one of the owners of this store, and she's talking with this other gentleman who has this jacket there. And I hear them talking about John Candy. And then this lady points up on the wall and is talking to this other gentleman. I'm just kind of listening in on this conversation. It's pretty closed quarters. And I hear the lady say, Christopher Plummer, great actor. His jacket was hanging on the wall. And there was another famous person whose jacket was hanging on the wall. I can't remember, but there were two names that just kind of that stuck me. And so I kind of interrupted their conversation, and I said, listen, I just want to clarify. Are you saying that this jacket here belongs to Christopher Plummer, and this jacket up here belongs to so-and-so, and this jacket here? And Buddy looks at me and goes, John Candy, when he starred in the 1991 movie Delirious, he had his jacket. So the jacket that John Candy wore during the filming of Delirious, this guy was wearing inside this shop on Barrington on Saturday. So I just thought that was really, like, he opened it up and there was John's name. So, I didn't ask to have my picture taken with it or try it on or anything. They were kind of, this back and forth. But I just thought the timing of being anywhere in the greater Halifax regional municipality in a tiny little vintage store on a Saturday on Barrington and running into this individual who just happened to have the original jacket worn by John Candy from the 1991 movie Delirious. I thought that was just delirious. Okay, 11:51. That's it for me. I just wanted to come in here real quick, share some notes. I have lots of things that I want to discuss with Andrew Goodsell. This is the last week of summer. I'm going to work really hard on putting a show together for this Sunday, which would be the last day of summer. Yeah, I'll make that happen. I have lots of things to discuss with Andrew Goodsell. He has lots of things to discuss with you. So him and I will chat. I'll record the conversation. We'll get it up on the radio. I'll give you the link, and we'll make that happen for this Sunday. Okay. Thanks for hanging out. Ruby, always great to connect with you. Hope you're well. Be well. Sorry for the mix-up. I just totally got you confused with someone else, but your story is just as incredible. Congratulations to all and everything that you're doing. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Yes, okay, successful. A little bit longer than 5 minutes, but you get it. I'm a rambler. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Sunshine all week. Last full week of summer. Get out and enjoy. My name is Matthew, and you are currently caught up in the moment.